This is The Social Hit on talkSPORT 2 with me, Olly Clink. I'm alongside Jacob Hawley. A very happy Jacob Hawley. What a weekend for his Arsenal, and their manager, Michael Arteta, says he's only focusing on controlling what he can control when it comes to the title race. Very Arteta answer. His side brushed aside Leeds at the weekend to go 6 points clear, set piece, ole, ole, ole. And then to make things even sweeter, North London rivals Spurs came from 2-0 down to draw with their challengers Manchester City. Here's what Arteta had to say about the title race when speaking earlier today.
We can only control what we can control. Last weekend we lost. Now everything looks different. We are very happy in the manner that we competed and win our game. And that's the only thing that is in our hand. And by the way, big congratulations to our women's team for winning the trophy at the weekend as well, which was a really, really nice news.
6 points clear. Spurs doing you a favour as well. It has a weekend ever been as good as an Arsenal fan?
Well, remember
in the Premier League recently.
This is a few days after we finished Champions League campaign, 8 wins out of 8 in the group stage. The women's team won. I think best team in the world. Trophy awarded to them by Professor Wenger himself. It's as good as it gets. I think Arsenal fans do need to pinch themselves and remind, we were really bad not long ago. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was only 4 or 5 years ago. We were 8th.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was ever going to get back to this. I honestly thought we could become, without sounding disrespectful, a team like a Leeds, for example, who have spent time in the Championship. Brilliant club, brilliant fan base, who deserve more. But were once at the top of English football and have now had some really difficult years. And I honestly thought that could happen with Arsenal. And I think, we listened to Arteta there. I loved his press conference last week where he basically said, get on the fun bus, right? We're going to try and have a good time with the set pieces and the own goals. But I think he deserves an awful lot of credit. I completely understand why fans of other clubs will never warm to Arteta, right? He's a weird guy. He's not... No one's inviting him for a beer. He's your mate's colleague from work who turns up and you're like, oh, geez, you have to bring him. I understand it. But
what do you think he'd order at the pub?
Oh, mate, this is soda water and lime.
100%.
This is soda water and lime, and then every now and then a really weird short. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Di-Serono and ginger.
And
really?
Then, orders a bucket of crisps but doesn't open them out for everyone.
They're his crisps. His biltong. He'll go for high protein. Biltong.
Yeah, biltong.
Biltong in the corner. Yeah.
And then the only thing he talks to you about how his biltong is packed with protein.
That's it.
And the marginal gains he will get from that.
It's real Stephen Bartlett stuff. Do you know what I mean?
And you play Diary of a CEO football.
There's
anything wrong with that.
No, yeah, but
it's marginal gains, isn't it?
It is marginal gains. But you know what? I've just learned to embrace it. If I'm going to wait for us to start playing tiki-taka, that's dead. And I don't think it's just dead for Arsenal either. I think it's dead in football. I saw Guillem Balaguer put a tweet after we lost to United, and he was like, Arsenal fans need to realise that the rest of Europe look at a club like Arsenal and they go, that's where football's going. It's going to set pieces. I reckon we'll be back at the 4-4-2 pretty soon. If you look at the way we played against Leeds and Kairat, it was basically 4-4-2. It was Kai and Gyökeres up there together, two big guys, and we lump it up. Football's cyclical, it'll come back, but I think right now this is the way it's going. Like Glenn Murray, wherever you are, find yourself a club. He's sat opposite me the way Ollie's hair's come going, through.
Yeah. To be fair, I know you don't care about how they score and the fact they're 6 points clear, and I completely get that, and you're absolutely right to think like that. Do you enjoy watching them? Really?
I'll be honest. There are times when it's dry, right? But when it's good, it's good. When it is good, it is good. And I've got to say, against Leeds, the first half felt like a rugby match.
Yeah.
It was physical, it was long balls. But second half, we relaxed a bit. We're 2 goals up. Gabriel Jesus, Erdegaard come on, and it does look a bit silky. So, are there times when it's 0-0, 60 minutes gone, we've had one shot, and every time we get a corner, we stand up? There are times I'm like, I don't really know what we're doing here. This doesn't feel... And you have to be honest with yourselves. The last couple of years, I've gone, you know what? I don't mind we didn't win it because I've had a great time. The 22-23 season, we played beautiful football, and we weren't expected to challenge for that title. Nearly won it. It felt amazing. 23-24. And again, we were winning 5s and 6s in that January, February, March period. It was great. It is a bit different now, but I think that's football. I do think it's football, and I don't think it's a coincidence that Man City are 1 win from 6. They are the architects of that tiki-taka stuff. They, as much as no one likes to say it, they used to play some nice stuff, City. It was slow, but it was nice and it was technical. And I think basically this Arsenal team was built from losing title races to City, and we went, all right, how do you beat City? You go physical, you go long, you score from corners, you make sure you can put good crosses in the box and finish from them. And I think the rest of football are following.
Yeah.
I watched Spurs. Spurs have scored a lot of corners. I think they've scored more corners than Arsenal this season. A lot of teams are doing this now. And it's like, if you don't like it, tough. This is football. And it's going to be this way for a while. And then you know what? It'll change again.
Do you think we are seeing the last season of Pep Guardiola at Manchester City? Especially if they lose this to Arsenal, which is looking like they will, let's be honest.
I mean, I was thinking about it today because, we beat Leeds, but then the run of fixtures before that, I think City have been dropping points. We drew to Liverpool, we drew to Forest, we lost to United, and you go, right, if we'd have won those 3 games, and that's a big ask, right? Liverpool look better now. I think United are the third best team in the league currently. Yeah. But if we'd have got the points from there, think how far ahead we could have been. And then you remember, City have got to go to Anfield next. We've got Sunderland at home. The gap could be insane. We could be talking about a 10, 12-point gap right now. And I do think City are a long way behind. I think it's easy to forget they were a long way behind last season as well. That was a car crash of a season last season for Man City. And so I just don't see him staying. And I look at the team and I go, this doesn't feel like a Pep Guardiola team.
No.
You know?
Not at all. No, there's no ruthlessness about them. Do you know what else? I was watching the game, and do you see when Haaland had his arms around one of the Spurs players and kind of joking about it in the last kind of few minutes, having been in a corner situation where he was being kind of thrown around a bit. And I think Gary Neville pointed out and just said, God, players are nice these days. Why are they having a joke about that? You're meant to be in a title race.
And
you're meant to be desperate to win.
And I think if they were closer to us, that wouldn't be the attitude.
Exactly. And I just feel like that ruthless side of Manchester City seems to be missing at the moment. Now, I've got to ask you, because like I say, it does kind of feel, and it didn't feel like this last week after they lost to Manchester United. It felt as if the wheels might be coming off again for Arsenal. But now it's that 6-point gap. Like you say, this weekend that could get even better for Arsenal. How many points ahead will they have to be for you to think, all right, yeah, this is going to happen now?
It would need to be 15. It would need to be 15. That's how deep.
I thought you were going to say hands on the trophy.
No. That's how deep the scars are. That's how heavy the PTSD is. That's how weighty my therapy bills are every month. Like, I honestly, until I see that trophy in Martin Ødegaard's hand, and I remember, by the way, the last trophy we won, it was Aubameyang trying to lift it, and he ended up dropping it. So until the trophy's successfully above a captain's head, I'm not going to relax, and I don't think we should. I really don't think we should. It's still a fairly young squad. There's no one in there who's won stuff like this really in the past. Obviously, Gabriel Jesus at Man City, but it's not quite the same. But that's why I feel confident against this City team. I look at that City team, I go, how many of them? There's not Kyle Walker there anymore, right? And he's a different player now, but there aren't players there who just won it year in, year out. Obviously, Haaland's got a few trophies to his name, but he's not having the same season. No. I just don't look at that squad and think, oh, right, they know what to do. They can do a run-in. When you used to watch Gundogan, De Bruyne, you just knew they could put a run of 12 games together. I don't see the players there now.
No.
And I don't think they will. And I do think this is a much tougher league than it was a few years ago. Any team you play now, they can give you a game. And like Man United saw that at the weekend. Fulham were good.
Very good.
Fulham
they were third
good.
in the form table going into the game.
This is it. There's so many good teams.
Brentford beat Aston Villa.
I'm worried about playing Brentford in 2 weeks' time. Yeah. They're a really, really, really good team. There's so many of those teams. When the Champions League finished last week, when the Group Stage Champions League finished last week, and it was, we're top, Liverpool third, Spurs fourth, who we've just been talking about, we don't know how their manager, they're the fourth best team in Europe.
It's crazy.
Based on that group stage.
Crazy.
I honestly think, and this would be my little hot take, I think you could put Brentford in that Champions League. They might not get top 8.
They'd qualify.
They're in the playoffs.
They'd definitely qualify.
100%. Fulham, the same. Bournemouth, the same. There's loads of Premier League teams. You put them in that Champions League, you put them any other league in Europe, they would do incredibly well. And I don't think it's necessarily... I had journalists going, oh, is it no good that all the English teams are top of the Champions? Is it rubbish? It's like, sorry, I don't remember Spanish journalists saying this 10 years ago.
No, and also...
It's not a talent thing either.
Yeah,
it's not money.
Be happy with the strength of the Premier League.
Right, but I think it's coaching. You look at those Premier League teams. How many Spurs players would get into Barcelona's 11? You know what I mean? And they're fourth. the Premier League teams are coached that, like, it's different when they're playing other Premier League teams. When they go into Europe, they're tough. They're good at set pieces. They're not broken down easily. And
Spurs are beating Dortmund, who are meant to be the second best team in Germany.
I think we're going to see it for a while as well. I really think this is going to be the case for a while.
Yeah. Talking of long term, by the way, I've got to ask you this. If Pep Guardiola does leave and Man City comes second and Arsenal win the league, you think about, whoever the successors coming in at Manchester City is going to be, that's going to be a very difficult job. Liverpool look like they need a bit of a rebuild. Manchester United, as much as they might have a good season, would they really put forward a title challenge the next season? Could it be a very, very good time to be an Arsenal fan, given that you might have a league title under your belt and you might have a very good chance to have a run at a few league titles, given that Pep Guardiola's gone?
I think it's tough. Look, whether Guardiola's there or not, what Man City have got is a very heavy checkbook. Right, they've done about £500 million in the last 12 months, and they'll keep spending, and they'll attract the best managers that are out there. So they'll be a force in the Premier League for eternity, because they've got the money. That's just they got the Pep in the first place. I actually think Man United are really well placed. I look at that Man United squad, and I don't necessarily mean this as a compliment to Carrick. I think of it more as a criticism of Amorim. That is a really good group of players.
They were just playing in the wrong position. I mean, Amorim didn't have a clue.
What was he doing?
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes playing
mad.
Playing in a double pivot.
Yeah.
That's the best attacking midfielder in the league by quite a long way as well. And Mbumu's a great forward. They've like Cunha.
Getting the best out of Cunha, yeah.
He's a really good player. Like, the defence is really solid. Like, Harry Maguire is still a brilliant centre-back in the Premier League.
Should they keep Carrick on?
If he gets Champions League, I think the thing now is you look around, you go, well, who would you take him out for? You know?
What if like a Luis Enrique became available?
But he's not gonna. Let's be honest. If Luis Enrique does become available, he's going to Manchester City, because they will throw 25 million pounds a year at him, and he'll go to Manchester City. It's as simple as that. In the same way that he followed Pep after Pep left Barcelona, he'll follow Pep as Pep leaves Man City. If he's going to go anywhere to City, outside of that, who would you gamble on? There was talk about Glasner.
Yeah, I think you either go for someone like Luis Enrique or an absolute elite level coach, or you stick with Carrick.
But you say someone like Luis Enrique aside, who is that?
Exactly. No, I agree.
Who are the elite level coaches?
Yeah,
Xabi Alonso?
Yeah, exactly.
Who is it? I honestly, it seems mad. But if Carrick's getting a tune out of those players, and as I say, I really think they're the third best team in England at the moment. I don't know who you'd move him for.
Very true. This is the Social Hit on talkSPORT 2 with William Hill, 18 plus gambleaware.org. Next up, we'll get the latest from Deadline Day. Anil Kandola will be back with us.